Southern Miss was so close, but falls short as Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Today's episode brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Okay, we will talk Coastal Carolina taking on Auburn in the Super Regional, and then the group of fives are having themselves certainly an impressive NCAA tournament thus far, but not Southern Miss. Unfortunately, they do fall short 5-4. Certainly made it interesting in that ninth inning. Carson Paetow with a 2-run Oppo Taco, but come up short 5-4. And flat out, Miami played better. Southern Miss didn't have all that many chances, and usually you don't strike out 15 times and win a ball game. So it was not the pitching, although, I mean, Matt Adams pitched his rear end off. Did give up a home run. Thought the pitch was pretty good, actually. Down, hit, I guess it had some of the plate, obviously, around the knees, but it, went out almost straight away center field, maybe a little bit to the left. So it certainly wasn't a cheapie, that's for sure. But he did give up not a crooked number. He did give up a number, did give up a run after 2 are outs, and in that 5th inning after they tied it up. And that is such a, I don't know if a momentum killer. I guess so. Even Tom Hart said it. They actually scored 2 runs in that 5th inning. It sucked the air out of the life in the ballpark because they had gotten back into the ball game. And in that 5th inning, Adams was rolling along. He had struck out 2. And then all of a sudden you get a base hit, you get a pass ball, and then you get another base hit, and it's 2-1. Then the bullpen comes in and makes it 3-1. In the previous inning, Southern Miss gets the RBI. I think it was Russo, right? Russo, and again, a couple of things that you won't see in the box score per se. Lays off a really good, I guess, a slider. Gabby Sanchez would know better than me. He's supposed to swing and miss that pitch. A lot of times you see them throw a fastball out of the strike zone. This was supposed to show him a breaking ball, and it breaks out of the strike zone. You're supposed to chase it. That's what that pitch was. Really good pitch, and he laid off of it. And he chased some pitches out of the zone, following them off, some tough pitches. And you guys would know better than me. He kind of looks like the guy. I don't know. That could be stereotyping the size that he is in the kind of see ball, hit ball. But he did a really good job of laying off that breaking ball and getting an RBI base hit to set Southern Miss up 1st and 3rd, and they hit into a double play. Cuvée actually bobbles the ball. He bobbled the ball, had to regrip it. They still turn a double play, right? Pratt can't get the ball out of his glove. They can't turn the play. That cost them a run. They lose by 1, right? Miami turns a couple of defensive plays. Hot shot off the first baseman. The second baseman backing up the play. The pitcher's covering first base. Out. Right? They get a tapper to short in the 9th. Throw to first base. Get him out. Was it to first base? Let me see. They made a nice play in the 9th. Stockman grounded out to short. Higdon advanced to second. Yeah. Not that Stockman's going to beat out too many infield bouncers, but you can bobble it, can throw it away, making the play on the run. And that's the difference in the game. All right. Miami made a couple more defensive plays. All right. Here's what I'm not going to put up with. All right. Because you heard a lot about this, and someone commented, because the Vanderbilt coach got mouthy with the reporter because it's good against good. All right. Here would be if I'm a Southern Miss fan. All right. This is where I would be upset about, because if you lose 15-5 because you ran out of pitching, because you lost opening day, okay, or opening game, not opening day, the opening round, all right, of the regional, then be like, all right, we deserve what we get, all right. They lost because their bats couldn't handle the B team, and ironically enough, they hit a 2-run home run against the closer who could just throw gas, right? Paytow, of all people, couldn't do anything for the last couple of weeks, and intentionally walked not once but twice in the regional. Now we know why. But Lumpkin, you got to tip your cap, right? Comes in there, gets him into the 4th inning. Talk about a fresh arm. Hadn't pitched in 2 weeks. Hadn't started in a month. Don't tell me he was best against best. All right. This guy was the midweek pitcher and hadn't been a midweek pitcher for a couple of weeks, or hadn't pitched in a couple of weeks. Because I guess you don't need a midweek pitcher. No. All right. Will Smith comes in there, breaking off curveballs. And then Evans, I mean, ridiculous statistics. He's got 13 strikeouts, 7 walks. And that's where I thought Miami was over managing. And I did tweet it out. And it almost came back to bite them. But Walters came in there and mowed Southern Miss down. I get it if you want to do righty-lefty in a 1-run ball game, but it's 5-2. And the 2 lefties, I got to look what Jake Cook's at. Smith's not a home run hitting guy. Why are we worried about him hitting a home run? All for your flame-throwing right-handed pitcher. But you set up the right-handed pitcher almost to fail. You're trying to get a couple of more outs out of the closer and out of the lefty reliever, who's not very good, at least not this year. Statistics show that. He actually gave up a run. And would have been nice to get another run, but I guess you traded out for a run in that case. But it was the bats that got quiet, right? I mean, it was not a pretty night for some of the, bigger bats in the lineup. Nick Monastere, Sunbelt Player of the Year, 0 for 3, walked once, struck out twice. Walters it's the 9th inning. There's nobody on. It's 0-2. I mean, I guess you're looking for a breaking ball, but I don't think he threw anything but fastballs, and he's looking at an 0-2 pitch down the middle. Tough night for Nick. Joey Urban, 0 for 4. There was just not a whole lot going on offensively. USM, they did get the 4 runs because 2 of them were on the home runs, but only had 6 base hits. And outside of, again, Higdon coming through with the big 3-run shot and the big offensive explosion in the first inning against Miami the other night, they really weren't consistent, right? They got a couple of big base hits. Stockman with the big base hit against Alabama. They didn't get some home runs against Alabama, but their bats were rather quiet throughout this regional, and it came back to bite them against not the best of all competitions. You got to tip the cap to Miami. They were better. All right. And Southern Miss lost to, the C team of Miami. And really, that's the disappointing part. If you get beat by the A or B team of Miami, or even last night, or the, Sunday nights of Miami, then, all right, you tip the cap. But you got beat by the D team, and that's where it's a little bit disappointing. Guy who hasn't pitched in forever, and Matt Adams just pitched his rear end off. Again, gave up that run after you put a run on the board. But you get a 0 in there. You got Matt Adams. He went 5. I don't know what the bullpen would have done that. I don't know if it would have been a different scenario of the bullpen, but disappointing. Obviously, really good season for Southern Miss, but it's going to be a big what if because you were going to, as a 16 seed, you're going to host a super regional. That's where it's going to just come back and haunt you forever. It was Wright State of all teams did you the solid, and you were going to get the Louisville Cardinals coming into your place, and you would have had JB Middleton going and you would have had a chance to go to Omaha. You would have been the favorite to get to Omaha. And, teams like that don't get that opportunity very much. And I'm not talking about like Southern Miss. I'm talking about 16 seeds. Don't rarely get the opportunity to host super regionals because the number 1 seed loses. That's where it's disappointing. Obviously, you don't know that when you lose the opening game of the regional, but you certainly knew it going into Sunday's game, in the Sunday second game. You knew that Vanderbilt had been eliminated. You had that chance. You knew it all day today, and they missed out on it. And, it wasn't the pitching, which held up for the most part. I certainly didn't think I would be the first day. I more so Sunday, I said it was going to be 9-8. I thought this was going to be a much higher scoring game. I really did. I didn't think Miami had the kind of pitching to hold Southern Miss's bats down, but Southern Miss's bats really haven't been going well for a little bit now, as it turns out. Anyways, second place in the regular season, second place in the Sun Belt Conference Tournament, second place in the regional, seeing a little bit of a trend. But solid season, obviously a disappointing ending to lose at home, and then missing out on that opportunity to get to the Supers. Really disappointing way that it ended. It is what it is. All right, let's talk about Coastal Carolina. I think they got a shot against Auburn. Auburn's not going to believe that, but they have a distinct advantage against these Auburn Tigers. We'll talk about that next after I tell you about Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where'd all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on bourbon. Now I budget smarter and save more. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for $50 off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. So the Sunbelt is down to one team in the Supers, and that is Coastal Carolina. And they are coming in with a massive advantage on the mound. Massive advantage. And hopefully we're going to get crossover editions with the guys who do Locked On Auburn. They do such a tremendous job. I got to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Auburn is 11th in ERA in the SEC, 4.71. Coastal Carolina is Coastal Carolina is second in the nation, I believe, with their ERA. 3.24. That is a run and a half more. That is an enormous difference. Enormous difference. And I'm having a tough time, I don't mind saying, looking at the Auburn stats, who their starters are right now. Let me see, because Cam Tilley, I don't know if he was is he an opener? Because they were going with Cam Tilley to begin with, and this is all-time season stats. I don't want all-time season stats. I had the stats on there, and I lost it. anyways, it seems that Coastal Carolina has a severe advantage on the mound. And Auburn's got a few bats, obviously. All right, they are the seed. Let's not, they are the favorite. They're the 4th seed. And regardless if we think that Coastal should have been a national seed, they certainly should have been a top 10 seed. And so you have Samuel Dutton with 15 starts, got a 3.84 ERA. He's 7-3, 80 hits in 82 innings, 92 strikeouts, only 18 walks. That's outstanding. That is basically 5-1. You have Christian Chatterton. He is 4-1 with a 4.47 ERA, but he's only got 52 in a 3rd innings pitch. That's not a lot in 14 starts. 16 strikeouts and 18 walks. That's 3-1. Opponents only hitting 201 against him, whereas Dutton, they're hitting 259. And see, Cam Tilley, I don't know if he's just starting. I don't know the way it ended the season. He's got 18 appearances and 6 starts. He may have been an opener in there. He's got 5.48 ERA in there. You also have Cade Fisher. He's got 10 starts, but I haven't seen his name in there. So I was going to go through the schedule here because that's what it was. It was Cam Tilley who started the last 2 opening games, but he only went 1 inning against Central Connecticut. He gave 3 runs up in the 2nd inning against Central Connecticut in the regional. And I think Chatterton started against Stetson. Let's see who started against NC State, who got that ton of run support in that 11-1 ball game. It was Andres Alvarez started. Okay. Let's see what his numbers are. I did not see his numbers to begin with. So he pitched in the regional championship game. All right. Let's see here. Alvarez, he's got 8 starts under his belt and 13 outings. 41 innings pitched, 43 hits, 33 strikeouts, 16 walks. He's got a 5.27 ERA. Again, it seems pitching-wise, Coastal Carolina has a huge advantage. Batting-wise, Auburn's got a pretty nice lineup here. Ike Irish leads the way, 362, 18 home runs, 57 runs batted in. They do not steal a whole lot of bases. Let's see what Coastal does. They've stolen 64 bases in 82 attempts. Irish has 11 out of those 12 bases. Chris Rembert, 347, 10 home runs, 45 runs batted in. Cooper McMurray, 14 home runs, 58 runs batted in. And those are the only 3 guys that have double-digit home runs. Let me see. I want to see. Let's compare these. Well, that's D1 statistics. Well, let's see. We got it here. All right. So home runs. Is that this year? No. Coastal Carolina has not hit a lot of home runs this year. So Auburn's got the advantage there, it would appear. 62 home runs to 88. So Auburn's got a lot more. 86 home runs just to 62. Stolen bases, Coastal's got more. Coastal's got 106 stolen bases, 133 attempts. So that's a lot more. Team-wise, Coastal's hitting 290 to Auburn's hitting 305. So that's relatively close. Auburn's a little bit better, obviously. So that'll be interesting to see how those match up. Let's see here. On base percentage, 411. I presume Coastal's is not. Oh. Coastal's, that's exactly the same. 411. On base percentage for Coastal is 411 and Auburn is 411. So those are basically the same. So hitting wise, it seems Auburn's got the power and Coastal Carolina's got the speed. But Coastal Carolina has the huge advantage when it comes to pitching. we'll talk to those guys on this later this week on what Auburn's plan is for the rotation, because, and again, Auburn's had this odd, seems like every other year, Butch Thompson is going to be losing his job. Like they don't make the NCAA tournament or they make the Super Regional. Like one year, maybe in 22, they had to go all the way out to, I think, Eugene, out in Oregon, or it could have been Corvallis, could have been Oregon State. I guess I can look. And it was graduation, and it was the track and field championships all at the same time, like the track and field national championships. And because those things are set, and the Super Regionals are obviously not, you can't book hotels right in advance for the Super Regionals. So it was a mess. They had to stay like an hour away. They were basically commuting. It was Corvallis's, and they actually won it. It was a mess to get out there, and they actually went 3 ball games, and they took the last game 4-3. They went 1-2, beating Stanford in Omaha, but losing to Ole Miss and losing to Arkansas. That may have been the year that Arkansas dropped the foul ball and missed out on winning the NCAA tournament. But again, Butch Thompson and Auburn, they have a solid program. It just gets overshadowed by the LSUs, the Tennessees, and the Floridas, maybe even the Kentuckys. That's the problem. Not so much the Alabamas. It's a different thing. I think he does a good job. Butch Thompson was, I don't know how much he was up for the Virginia job, but that was a name that was thrown out there. So again, I'm looking forward to the series. It seems like Coastal's got the advantage on the mound. We'll see if that translates to the games. All right, let's take a timeout. It's been a wild NCAA tournament thus far. It appears LSU has survived, and obviously Southern Miss was eliminated as well. But, I mean, how about Murray State beating Ole Miss? I mean, hanging on by the hair of their chinny chin chin. The G5s have been outstanding. Tell you about that right after this. All right, we're already off to a great start in the month of June. I do need you guys to do me a favor. When you are not watching on the computer, and again, another good hair day, I appreciate that. Do need you to download it, subscribe to the Apple Podcasts and to the Spotify. It is a big help. I do mean that. It is a big help. You can do it on the walk. You could do it while you're working out. You could do it while you're cleaning up. You just don't have to watch it when you're on TV or on the computer. You can do it on the commute. It is a big help when you do download it on the Apple Podcasts and on Spotify or wherever you get the podcasts. I say those two because that's what usually we can see what people listen to, and that's the two that they listen to the most, Apple Podcasts by a wide margin. But I tweet out those 2 links because that's what people listen to. So do appreciate it. We're off to a great start already. We'll see what happens with Coastal Carolina. They got a shot to go into Auburn and win this Super Regional. That is for sure. And then who knows what happens. We're going to talk about this. Murray State's got a shot to beat Duke. If they can beat Ole Miss, they can beat Duke in Durham. All right. We'll talk about that right after this. Thanks again, guys. Really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. It has been a big help. All right, Dave Schultz, Lockdown Sunbelt, your teams every day. This is going to be like a power nap. I'm getting up in like 5 hours to go to Orange Theory. I am insane. Anyways, I do have to detox from Mama Schultz's 85th birthday. All we did was eat well, like 3 big-time meals. Well, I would not say that. I would say 2. I'm not sure we did lunch very much. It was certainly breakfast and dinner. May have skipped the lunch part. But yeah, we need to detox a little bit. So hopefully whatever's in me comes out over the next couple of days. Hopefully by tomorrow, by the end of the day tomorrow. Anyway, it has been a great NCAA tournament for the Power Fives. Not so much for the SEC. Again, I presume LSU has survived. Let's go on to Twitter. That'd be the easiest way. Because they were winning at the time. Yeah, they are. Yes. All right. Was 7-6. Jared Jones just hit a 2-run home run. So they are up 9-6. Okay. But Little Rock, even coming out of nowhere, formerly of the Sun Belt, doing things. Wright State eliminating Vanderbilt. Murray State, they were winning 12-3 in the 7th. What turned that ball game? I don't know if you guys were watching it because a lot of things were going on at the same time. Texas Tech and Oklahoma softball was going on at the same time. LSU and Little Rock going on, and Southern Miss had just started. And what turned things around, because Murray State couldn't throw strikes. All right. It went from 12-3 to 12-7, 12-8 even. All right. And they hit a batter. And the batter, one of Ole Miss's better guys, stuck his elbow in there, brought him back. They struck him out. They struck out the next guy. That settled him right down. Next inning, Ole Miss hits a 3-run home run, makes it 12-11. Get out of that inning. I think they went relatively quiet in the 9th. They may have gotten one guy on in the 9th, but that's amazing. And for those who don't know, Nico Yanko is the athletic director at Murray State. I wear Murray State garb on the podcast. He's the former associate AD with the Cajuns. He's done a great job there. Just hired Ryan Miller, assistant basketball coach at Creighton, doing a good job with the social media, or at least maybe just that's because I'm following him. And Josh Bruner, who was the SID for the Cajuns. And I think Mississippi State for like a minute and a half. Those guys are here in Murray. And I think I've spoken about them as well. They have a unique situation there where they are like 300 miles from no Power 5 schools. So they don't deal with LSU and the Cajuns. They don't deal with Troy and Alabama and Auburn. All right. They don't deal with Southern Miss, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss. They're in a unique pocket of the country. I think he said the closest one is Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt's kind of its own deal. I know Vanderbilt is obviously the number 1 seed in baseball, but Vanderbilt's his own little deal. He said the only issue that they may have is Kentucky merchandise is in the grocery store because the name of the field is Kroger Field. What can you do? But he's like, most of the time, we just have Murray State people. People are walking around in Murray State garb. And if you don't think that's a little bit of a deal, it is. They even had, people walking around in Hattiesburg pissed off that it was Ole Miss and Mississippi State stuff. Cajuns fans hate that stuff. Walking around in stores, just seeing LSU stuff in Lafayette. Right? And so Murray State is off to play Duke because Georgia lost in that regional. And so Murray State's got a chance to go to Omaha. All right. Coastal Carolina has a chance to go to Omaha. Southern Miss had a chance to host a Super Regional. They had a chance to go to Omaha. Let me see if I got the NCAA bracket so I can check it out, because it is, it's been fantastic. UTSA is going to the Super Regional against UCLA. How about that? They beat Texas. That's fantastic. You do have the 4 SEC teams. Tennessee and Arkansas are playing each other. All right. Florida State is going. Miami and Louisville are playing each other. All right. And that will be here in Louisville. I may actually go to that. That'll be this week here. Should be here in Louisville. So that'll be fun to actually go see that. It's been a minute since I've been to Super Regional. So you got, you do have, so you got Coastal Carolina, Murray State, and UTSA in the supers, you almost had Little Rock and you almost had Southern Miss. So you had Wright State knocking off Vandy. You had UTSA knocking off Texas. I mean, it's my guy Glavin at Northeastern. They got that may be their first win ever. Maybe their first regional win since 73, or maybe their first win ever in regional play. That's not a little deal, right? I know some teams have standards, and Cajuns like to think their standards are a little bit higher. It's really not, because they don't get there. But it's a big deal to go out and win an NCAA tournament game. And Murray State didn't just win one, they won two. And now Coastal Carolina swept their regional, right? I got a guy in YouTube saying, because my guy Mark Jones, frequent watcher and commenter, saying, and he said this, I think when Coastal, before Coastal won it, he said Coastal's going to beat Auburn and go to Omaha. And I said, slow the roll a little bit, right? And this guy said, oh, so you won 1-0. So you're going to go into Auburn and win? And I said, well, maybe slow down a little bit too. Coastal's won a national championship. Southern Miss went into Auburn and beat Auburn. And Coastal's been into Baton Rouge and have beaten LSU before. Obviously a different team, but many years ago. But it's not like they haven't gone on the road and done it before. Whereas Auburn hasn't won a national championship in baseball, certainly not in recent memory. So it can happen, all right? And again, Coastal Carolina absolutely has the advantage on the mound, and it is not particularly close, whereas Auburn is a little bit more powerful and has a slightly higher batting average. There is a distinct advantage on the mound, all right? Coastal Carolina's 3 starters are immensely better than whatever Auburn is throwing. And it's good to see. We'll see if UTSA can knock off UCLA, right? And if Murray State can go into Ole Miss, why can't they go into Durham? Right? Could you imagine if these 3 teams all end up in Omaha? Good shot that one of them is, and we'll see if multiple teams are. And I think it's great. All right. I know a lot of people think there's not a G5. There kind of is. I think there is. There just is. I also do believe that everybody's got a Friday night starter. Whereas if my Friday night starter is on, he can mow down your guys. We've seen that numerous times. But it's going to be a fun week. Looking forward to previewing Coastal Carolina and Auburn. So stay tuned for that. Also on Wednesday, did have Brian Smith of Locked On Portal and college football recruiting, and we did a whole thing on the Sun Belt. That's going to come up on a Wednesday, so I'll get that ready for Wednesday's episode, and then we'll do a preview of Auburn and Coastal Carolina on Thursday or Friday. All right, so looking forward to that. Really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to take a power nap before I go exercise. I don't know why I'm so jacked up. Usually this is way past my bedtime. We'll definitely end up taking a nap after Orange Theory. So again, thanks so much. You've been watching Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Really good season for Southern Miss, but they do come up short to Miami, losing 5-4 in the if necessary ball game Monday night in Hattiesburg.